Mellow greetings, everybody. My name is James. I am from the internet. Today we are going to be talking about the insurrection in Washington, D.C. Now, normally I like to start off a little chill, sort of get you all warmed up before we get into the content, but frankly, there is way too much shit to cover today, so we're going to get right into it. I'm going to give you a chronological look at everything that happened throughout the day of insurrection, and while going through that, hopefully I will be able to point some things out to you that will crush some really bad narratives that are being passed around out there by people who are trying to excuse, delegitimize, or somehow lessen the negative impacts of what happened yesterday. So let's kick it. Number one, the day started off with a rally, 12 blocks down the road from the Capitol building. And that rally featured Rudy Giuliani and El Presidente himself, Donald Trump. This is what they had to say to the crowd to kick the day off.
Let's have trial by combat.
Noted gladiator and multiple-time survivor of Thunderdome, Rudy Giuliani, is calling for trial by combat. It's like fucking 8:30 in the morning. Granted, Rudy's been up since like 5, prostate, waking up early, all that sort of thing. But yeah, he's ready and raring to go. Well, maybe not him, but hopefully some of the followers, because Rudy ain't gonna do no trial by combat, let's be honest. But Rudy would love it if all y'all there did it for him. Not soon after that, El Presidente Donald Trump came out behind a very large wall of bulletproof glass to tell his adoring fans what they wanted to hear most of all.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved.
So there you go. The election was a fraud. We will not concede. We will not give up. Time for trial by combat. Well, guess what? They took that shit seriously and all hell broke loose. This is a scaffold outside the Capitol that has been erected for the upcoming Biden January 20th inauguration. It's normally not there. There are a few things of note in this picture. Number one, that amazing flag, Jesus is my savior, Trump is my president. You know, you like to put Jesus and Donald Trump on the same playing field because of course you do. Also of note in this photo is that right up here on the top of the steps, there's a whole bunch of police officers, and you know what they're doing? They're just letting it happen, and they're watching. It's cool. Shit happens, right? Cool. Okay. So this sort of inaction on the part of the police emboldened the mob to push it, and they just kept going all day. Trump followers did, however, take a moment to actually disprove the theory that walls will keep shitty people out of places, because that wall didn't work. With so little resistance by the Capitol Police, the protesters were able to gain entry into that inner portion of the Capitol building, and they completely took over the area, including this window washer machine, which they then used to get rid of an American flag and replace it with a Trump flag.
I was wondering what exactly was going on there. Apparently, this is a rioter trying to take down the American flag from the Capitol and replace it with a Trump flag.
How very patriotic of them. Now, when I tell you there weren't a lot of Capitol Police there, not only am I not joking, but the ones who were there not only offered minimal or token resistance, but they actually helped the insurrectionists gain access to the Capitol building.
Police are squabbling with protesters. Oh, there we go. And they just breached the Capitol again.
Now, as somebody who has covered quite literally hundreds of protests in Washington, D.C. over the last decade, I was utterly confused as to how people made their way into the Capitol building when the day started. Normally, you can't get within 100 yards of the Capitol building. There are tiered layers of concrete walls and barricades, all of which are normally manned by Capitol Police, and then up top on the higher walls, they have spotters and snipers. Plus, they have constant radio communication with this citywide camera grid, so they know exactly how many people are coming and how long it's going to take them to walk down the street. And on a moment's notice, the DC Capitol Police can summon out 1,000 people, most of them with riot gear and on horseback, It normally takes them 5 to 10 minutes to get them, and they come riding out. Not during the insurrection, though, no. They had the C Squad on duty, they had a skeleton crew at best, and the ones who were there, for the most part, played nice with the insurrectionists. Now, right here is where I remind you that the DC Capitol Police are not a regular police force. They are under the jurisdiction of the federal government. In fact, the Capitol Police who were there just kind of hung out and, you know, took selfies with the protesters.
ACAF.
Yeah, that happened. See, look, there's a cop. That guy was a cop. Look, cop, riot helmet. They're just kind of milling around the inside entry to the Capitol building with the insurrectionists who scaled over walls and just barged right in. Does any of this seem odd to any of you? Because again, I know I wouldn't have gotten within 100 yards of the Capitol if I had like 400 Black Lives Matter protesters and a bunch of anarchists with me. Yeah, they would have fucking smoked us. We would have never even gotten this far. In fact, nobody would have gone this far. But they got this far. This is what it looked like from the outside as they gained access.
A lot of people packed on the steps now. They have pushed back the barricade, the physical barricade that was initially down here, the bicycle racks, then the barricade of Capitol Police officers standing on the steps, holding them back, and they have made their way all the way up the U.S. Capitol steps.
Yeah, they brought nooses, because of course they did. They took over the floor of the chamber and took selfies on the podium. And yes, even known right-wing nutjob Kevin Sorbo came out of the woodwork to loudly proclaim that this was not the work of patriots. No. Patriots would never incite a violent insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. It must be the dreaded Antifas. I mean, look at them. Look at this picture. These are definitely Antifas, right? Yeah, remember this pic. We're going to bust a couple more narratives with this one. And here's some of the gear worn by some of the, quote, protesters, because, you know, if you call them insurrectionists or terrorists or violent thugs or rioters, the right-wing media blue checkmark mob squad will descend upon you and cancel you. Oh, whatever happened to the tolerant right? This guy came in full tack gear with a stack of double zero-gauge zip ties. Oh yes, the Camp Auschwitz sweatshirt. No peaceful protest is complete without it. Oh, 6MWE, my favorite, of course. 6 million wasn't enough. Do I even need to explain that Nazi reference to you? I would hope not. Oh, look at this sweet protester carrying around his participation trophy from a war that ended 150 years ago. Adorable, right? But I digress. Look, a looter. I wonder what happened. Did he grow up with a single mom? Did he not have a good enough role model growing up? You know, no males in his family? Perhaps he's just lazy and doesn't have a job. I don't know, but for whatever reason, this person turned to a life of looting. Yeah, the sweet, kind, nonviolent protesters even broke into Nancy Pelosi's office. That's her desk. She had emails open on her screen. Yeah, good to know the Capitol Police had absolutely no concern for national security. Yeah, I'ma just kick it here on Nancy's desk. Now, there is a rumor that I can neither confirm nor deny that somebody actually took a poop on Nancy's desk. I don't know if it happened, but I'm just saying, that guy looks very relaxed, and I don't know that I could be relaxed in that kind of a situation, you know. Yeah. Now, once they got into the Capitol building, the nonviolent protesters, who totally weren't insurrectionists, then forced their way into the inner chamber of the House. Is anybody else enjoying the fact that they're using a police barricade with a Trump drain the swamp flag on it to break down the doors to the inner chambers of the U.S. Capitol building? And now that I've shown you some of that, we're going to get to some narrative busting. Here's the first one. I'm gonna let this play for itself, and then we'll have a little chat.
It's cold, it's brisk.
People are walking around. They've got their flags at the ready, mostly people milling about. And one of the points that the demonstrators are making is that this is different from what we have seen with the BLM-type demonstrations, because aside from some of the things that were broken getting into the Capitol, and disregarding the reports now of the woman who was shot, but aside from the things that were broken getting into the Capitol in terms of doors, they say there is no vandalism taking place. This is people sending a message. And again,
Oh, okay. So did you catch that? This isn't like a BLM protest, because it's not like anybody got hurt or any property got damaged. I mean, other than the windows that got smashed, the doors that got broken through with steel barricades, the podium that got looted, the woman who got shot. But other than all of those things, this protest is nothing like a BLM protest where property gets damaged and people get injured. Nothing like it. Two completely different things. You know why? Because these are protesters with a point. But Black Lives Matter protesters, oh, they're just unruly savages, right? Yeah. Not like these fine, upstanding, patriotic Americans. No. And then, of course, Fox News couches it as, oh, no. We didn't say that. Other people said that. We're just reporting that they said it, even though we don't have it on tape. I believe in the legal world, it's what they call hearsay. And in my world, this entire thing is what we call... Oh, that's loud? It's very loud and annoying? Oh, yeah, it's supposed to be. Now, at one point on their way to the very inner chambers of Congress, there was one lone Capitol policeman who was left to fend off an angry mob by himself. I'm going to again point out that if I marauded through the U.S. Capitol with a bunch of my Black Lives Matter friends or a bunch of my anarchist friends, and we got to the very inner bowels of the U.S. Capitol building, and a U.S. Capitol policeman came around the corner and saw us, we would have gotten murked. Also, there would have been more than one cop because they would have sent every last fucking person they had. Then, after a few hours of playing around and shooting selfies with the cops and having fun in Nancy Pelosi's office, on the way out, they decided to reenact the death of George Floyd just to mock BLM some more. You know, because this was nothing like one of those violent, thug-riddled Black Lives Matter rallies. So let's just show them that we're thinking about them while we're being here and doing these patriotic things. Yes, that's how patriots make America great again, by leading a mob-style insurrection and then mocking the death of black people at the hands of the police state. But no, this was totally peaceful and not violent, and it totally wasn't incited by Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump. No, not at all. This was just a totally chill picnic-like day in beautiful, scenic Washington, D.C. along the Potomac. Oh, don't worry. They kindly escorted everybody out because those steps sure can be dangerous. Here you go, ma'am. You're okay.
Really holding her hand.
It's okay that you just broke into the United States Capitol building. It's cool. Come here. Let me help you down the stairs. I'd hate to see you bark your shin or something. And now we get to the coup de grace. The FBI is asking the public to help identify Capitol rioters. Even though all of these people have been milling around Washington, D.C. for the last 2 days, and every single fucking building and street corner in Washington, D.C. is covered with cameras that all feed into the same video security place where they have facial recognition software. It is one of the most advanced in the world. It is better than the systems that they have in Las Vegas. Yet somehow, hundreds of well-known white nationalists just cruised into fucking D.C. with nobody noticing, none of the federal authorities being aware. They left a skeleton crew at the Capitol building so they could all get through, and now the FBI's going, gee, who the hell are all these people? I have no idea how they got here. Yeah, well, don't worry. Just because you're a slack ass and you people purposely let this shit happen, it doesn't mean that other people on the internet aren't doing your job for you. So hey, FBI, you want some help? Here's your help. This guy here, his name's Chester Doles. He's a Klansman from Georgia and a known neo-Nazi. The Q shaman is named Jake Angeli. He's given interviews and has been present at many Q rallies and BLM counter rallies. See? The internet's got lots of names for you. Hey, look, the looter who obviously didn't have a dad growing up, and that's why he's an unemployed thug now, his name is Adam Johnson, and he's from Bradenton, Florida. Hey, FBI, got a pen? Are you writing this shit down? It's not that hard. It's right there. The guy who is sitting at Pelosi's desk, his name is Richard Barnett. He's 60 and he's from Gravette, Arkansas. This guy here, his name's Paul Davis. He's a lawyer. He's also Associate General Counsel and Director of Human Resources at Goosehead Insurance. Wow, it's really easy to ID these people. You know why? Because they all refuse to wear masks. Assholes. This is Nick Fuentes and Baked Alaska. They're fun white nationalists and Holocaust deniers. Look, they're really easy to find. He was fucking streaming the whole thing. Hey, look, this is Derek Evans. He's a newly elected member of West Virginia's House of Delegates. A Republican, of course. Also, he ran his own live stream of everything on his own page. This is Douglas Mastrione. I don't think he's Antifa. Probably because he's a Republican Pennsylvania state senator. Oh, the guy with the Confederate flag? That's Ricky Talico. He was kind enough and proud enough to post this under his own name on his own page, on his own social media. Really, FBI, do you need our help? I think they're doing your job for you, so I probably don't need to do it. So there you go, everybody. There's a little rundown of what happened and all those peaceful protesters who were totally not at all like Black Lives Matter protesters, even though they led a violent insurrection in the very heart of the United States Capitol building and left dead people behind. 2 weeks before the inauguration of Joe Biden, and shit just keeps getting worse every day. So please keep your head on a swivel, take care of the people standing next to you, keep your eye on the prize. My name is James, I'm from the internet, and I'm out. Peace.